Hello everyone, my name is Patrick O'Grady and I'm from IELTS Hanoi. Today, I think we've got an excellent lesson for you. I have a special guest coming in and previously he got an 8.0 on his speaking test in the IELTS and we're going to be testing him here today and see how he does. I think he's going to do really well. Maybe you don't know who I am. Maybe I'll take a quick minute to introduce myself. My name is Patrick O'Grady, and I've been teaching English a long time. I taught in Korea for 3 years. I taught in Saudi Arabia for 5 years, and I've been teaching in Vietnam for 10 years now. About 10 years ago, my wife and I started up a company called English Hanoi, and this is a branch of English Hanoi, IELTS Hanoi, and we're here to help you with your speaking skill. Anyways, let's get on with it and start our lesson. Good afternoon. Hi there. Please come in, have a seat.
Okay.
My name is Patrick O'Grady and today I'll be your examiner. Can you tell me your full name, please?
My name is Hoàng.
And what should I call you?
Just Hoàng is okay.
Juan. Very good. Could you give me your identification, please?
Okay, here you are.
Ah, great. Okay. Great. Thank you very much. Now, thank you. Now, I'm going to ask you a few questions about yourself. I'd like to start by talking about your country. Which country are you from?
My home country is Vietnam, and even though it's a really small country in the region of Southeast Asia, it's a very peaceful country, and that's what I really love about Vietnam.
Mm-hmm. What part of the country do most people live in?
Well, there are two major cities that many people prefer living in. They are, first of all, Hanoi, which is the capital of Vietnam, and Ho Chi Minh City, which is another major city in Vietnam.
Very good. What are the main industries in Vietnam?
Well, along Vietnam history, we have always been an agricultural country. So our main source of income is from agriculture, from planting trees and raising cattle. However, due to the development of technology, industrialization is becoming a major trend here.
Very good. Is it easy to travel around Vietnam?
Due to the shape of Vietnam, which is an S, traveling across Vietnam is very easy. In fact, last year, my family spent 3 months traveling across Vietnam, and I can safely say that I've been to almost every city in Vietnam.
Wow. All right. Well, let's move on to television. Do you watch television a lot?
Television used to be a source of recreation when I was a child. However, due to the advance of technology of smartphones, television is slowly becoming a little bit out of fashion lately.
I'm afraid I'm an old man, yes. I see. So, what do you like to do on your smartphone?
Smartphone is a very technologically advanced device. So there are a lot of things that you can do there. For example, surfing the internet or hanging out with friends on social networks such as Facebook, Instagram, or watching TV series such as my favorite one is 13 Reasons Why.
I see. Very good. What did you last use your smartphone for?
Well, admittedly, a smartphone is a very essential part of my life, and I can safely say that I cannot live without it. I last used my phone to surf the Facebook when I was at a cafe next to my house.
I see. What are some disadvantages to the smartphone?
Well, as beneficial as smartphone can be as a device in our lives, there are undoubtedly a lot of demerits to using smartphone. First of all, it can be very addictive, and people can really be hooked to it. And without real life interaction, they are missing a very crucial part of their life.
Very good. I'd like to move on to part 2 of the test. I'd like to ask you to speak for 1 or 2 minutes on this topic. Please read the topic carefully. You have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You can make notes to help you if you wish. Begin.
Can I have a pen?
You certainly can.
Thank you.
Okay, that's 1 minute. You've got 2 minutes to give me your answer. Begin.
Okay. So today I want to talk about a very exciting experience in my life, and it is Oscar 2016. And by Oscar, I don't mean the real Oscar. That would be totally awesome. Basically a pseudo Oscar that is held by my club, which is CNN English Club. And my club is very famous, very well known for its wide range of extracurricular and very exciting activities, and Oscar is one of them. Basically, it's a movie making event, and all of the members of our clubs are divided into 6 groups, and each group are assigned a genre, a movie genre, so that we can base our movie upon it. And our group genre was comedy, and it was a really difficult topic because there are a lot of mainstream comedies already, and it's really difficult to think of a new idea. At first, I was really shy, and I volunteered. I opted for becoming a scriptwriter because I just want to get involved in the background. However, I didn't have as much experience then, and coincidentally, the main character totally suits me. So I had no choice but becoming the main actor. And however, at the end, we won the Oscar, and the overall experience taught me a really important lesson that I am a very capable person, and I can achieve a lot more if I can break out of my shell, if I can stop being introverted. And Oscar will always be a really memorable event during my high school life.
Great. Very good. Would you like to do it again in the future?
Well, I can say that movie making is quite an exotic experience, and if I could, I would really love to participate in a movie making project in the future if I could.
Excellent. Well, let's move on to part 3 of the test. What are some experiences that all Vietnamese should have?
Okay. Well, there are a lot of. I think that one of the most basic experience that all of Vietnamese need to have is education, because as you know, there are a lot of people belongs to the minority above in the mountains where they don't have the facility needed for their education, and that can be a huge upset to the Vietnamese economy, and also a bit of challenge would spice things up for as an experience, because you can really challenge yourself and see where you can go in the future.
Very good. What are some risks that what risks should people try to avoid?
I can admittedly, I can say that I'm a kind of person that likes to take risk. I believe in taking risk because without risk, there won't be any reward. However, there are numerous ignorant threats or risk that people need to really avoid. First of all, drug addiction is a must. You definitely need to stay away from drugs.
Sure.
Another thing is that dangerous driving should also be avoided because according to statistics, a lot of people, more than a million people, more than a couple of million people die every year in Vietnam because of traffic accidents. And it can be really easily avoided if people know how to drive safely.
Well, thank you very much. It's been very interesting to speak with you.
Okay.
And best of luck in your future.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye. So, what do you think? Did he do okay? I thought he did really well. Let's go over the questions and his answers. As usual with this guy, there certainly are no grammar mistakes. I didn't hear any. Mostly I want to compliment him on his grammar. He's using a lot of compound and complex sentences, and he's answering very thoroughly. the questions. Anyways, let's go through it. As you remember, part 0 of the test is where we get a quick introduction with the examiner, and the examiner's going to come in, have a seat. My name is, and I'll be your examiner. Tell me your full name. Tell me your full name. Don't tell them your phone number. Do not tell them your phone number, okay? What should I call you? Please call me Patrick. Great. And then we move on to part 1 of the test, of the speaking test. We started out, we were asking about the country and where he's located, and he gave me some good vocabulary words. He talked about Hanoi being the capital of Vietnam, and he talked about major cities, bigger cities within Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh being the other one, of course. He also, what are the main industries in your country? And he gave me a little history lesson there, telling me it's always been agricultural here in Vietnam, and we continue to be. So that's what we're doing. Correct answer, absolutely. Is it easy to travel around? Is it easy to travel around your country? He gave a clear answer due to it being an S. I'm not sure what being. The fact that Vietnam is in an S shape, whether that helps or hinders the driving around, but it was still a good answer. Nothing wrong with that. I then moved on to television, and I asked him the question, do you watch a lot of television? And I feel like an old man. He's on. We're not talking about television anymore. Now we're talking about smartphones. And I think that's important to remember, that if you're asked a question that you really, maybe you can't give a positive answer to, that you can go in your own direction. I'm asking about television, and he's, no, I'm not really familiar with television. I'm much more familiar with smartphones. So he's turning the conversation his way, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Absolutely not. So my next question was, what do you like to do on your smartphone? What did he tell me? There's numerous things he likes to do. Numerous, great vocabulary word. Many, a number of, numerous. And he talked about technology, technologically, a tough word to pronounce for sure, and he did it well. So also when he was describing this, he uses something called what I call the rule of 3. And what did he say? There are numerous different things, and he gave 1, 2, 3 different examples of how he likes to use it. So you can go back and listen again to what he said, and it's kind of important when you're organizing your ideas. You want to keep them into a group of 3. So you don't want to go on too long. And anyways, he did well with that. What did you last use your smartphone for? And he told me he couldn't live without it, which is I understand. And he also told me that he used it at a cafe, as I remember. So again, very good. Good answer. He answered it all well. What are some disadvantages to the smartphone? Use some great vocabulary. Addicted. So you can't get enough of it. Sometimes a heroin addict is addicted to the drug, or someone who smokes is addicted to something. And he talked about being in the real world, which I like a lot, and also being hooked on something. Which I always think of a fishing hook is grabbing a hold of you and pulling you off. So all good, strong answers there. He giving a little bit of extra information into all of his answers was really well done. Let's move down to part 2, shall we? So I gave him this. We'll get a picture of that later. And let me just read this. Describe an exciting experience in your life. You should say when the experience took place, where the experience took place, what happened exactly, and explain why the experience was so exciting. Okay. So he had a minute, and he did his best. These are, I'll show you what he wrote down here. We'll take a picture of that, show you later. Oscar 216, club famous, movie making, genre comedy, scriptwriter shy, main actor not in something. Okay. How are his notes? I like his notes. They're simple and easy to read for him. He can easily understand what he's written here. They're organized. I remember from his speech that they are logically organized from start to finish. So it's keeping that organized. It makes life easier for you. So make sure you keep your stuff organized. His notes are great. I can't really think of anything. He might have used a couple of short forms for some words, maybe CLB, club. He might have written CB. I don't know. He might have thinking about using some shorthand, but overall it's very good notes. Let's move on. What about his answer? He talked about the CNN English Club getting an Oscar there, and he used kind of often when often what we're looking at in the IELTS is to go overseas and study, and sometimes we think we're very proper, and I think it's really good to use a high-level language, and he uses a lot of high-level language for sure. Something he said in this answer, he said it was totally awesome, which isn't really an academic word, but it's kind of fun. It really shows his enthusiasm and his excitement about what he was talking about. It was totally awesome. And again, not the most academic word. I wouldn't recommend you saying that all the time, but in this case, it was a nice change of vocabulary, and I enjoyed it. Again, he's using all sorts of all the correct grammar. He's compound and complex sentences. That's what the examiner's looking for in the grammar part of this test. But his vocabulary is really strong too. He used the word pseudo. I forget how he used it, but he used, the word pseudo. Designated, genre. He talks about himself being introverted. Boy, we should go back and talk about what these words mean. Pseudo means kind of, not quite real. Pseudo. Designated is someone must do. For this example, I think he was designated to do a job. So they're pointing at someone saying, "This is your job. You are designated to do this." Genre is a word we would use to describe a type of entertainment or a category of entertainment. And the category he was talking about was comedy. Another genre might be horror or what do we have? Comedy, horror, or science fiction. Okay, these are three different genres. A genre is a way of describing a type of entertainment. Okay. And he also used a great vocabulary word, coincidentally. Very nice. It just so happens, coincidentally means, it just so happens I look like this guy. I act like this guy. Just so happens, coincidentally, I look like this guy. Great vocab. I liked it a lot. He also described about what he learned. He opened up to new possibilities, and I think that's a great life lesson to learn and a great life lesson to share. So good stuff. Very good for part 2. He finished up there, and I asked him, would you like to do it again in the future? And boy, I already knew the answer when I asked the question. And obviously, yes, he was really excited about that. He was very pleased with his experience. So that's something I want to talk about too. He was really pleased about his experience, and when you listen to him, you can hear his enthusiasm. All right, he's excited about this. That's really important to show your examiner, it's really important that you're excited about what you're talking about, okay? So if you're being asked about an experience and you're speaking kind of bored and it's not very exciting, yeah, this experience, we did this and then we did that, and yeah, it's boring, okay? And I think it's really, sometimes you need to practice your acting and being excited, and being exciting, okay? So watch that. Watch how you answer these questions, because you will practice these questions again and again and again, and you do get bored. So be careful, because it happens. So we finished up part 2, and of course we move on to part 3 of the test. And I had 2 questions for him here. The first question was, what are some experiences that all Vietnamese should have? And he talked about education, which seems like a good thing to talk about. Everybody should get some schooling, and it's certainly something that we should try to have everyone do. Follow that up with what risks should people try to avoid, and stay away from drugs and driving fast, and you should have a good, happy life. So he's using lots of good vocab, and he answered all the questions very strongly. So thank you very much for watching today. That brings us to the end of our lesson. If you liked what you saw, if you like what you've seen, give us a thumbs up or subscribe on the button down there, or hit the like button over there. Or, hey, you could even write something down below and tell us what you think, or maybe tell us something you would like to see in the future. Once again, my name is Patrick O'Grady. If you liked what you've seen, please hit the subscribe button down below, the like button down below. You can write something down below. Tell us if you like it, you hate it, or what you'd like to see in the future. We'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in studying the IELTS, you can find the telephone number down below. We're found at englishhanoi.com, and we're looking to help you improve your scores. And if you like what you've seen, give us a shout. Thank you very much for watching today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.